What's up, Raider Nation? This is your boy, Raider Joe or Joseph. I'm back at it once again with your Raiders content. And before we get started, please like and subscribe and share with a friend. Somebody's primarily, part of the Raider Nation. But we're going to talk about the defensive free agency and how that was, who we picked up, and what are your thoughts about it, Raider Nation. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe. Now I want to talk about the defense. So let's talk about the defensive line. Let's talk about, where it gets dirty in the defensive line. We picked up John Jenkins. He actually was talking about retirement before he actually re-signed with the Raiders. It's kind of funny. We're getting guys that, don't want to play with Josh McDaniels, but somehow keep on signing with Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. It's kind of weird. But he was contemplating retirement, and he said, you know what, I'll play one more year for you guys. So I hear this guy is a massive pickup. He's a little older, obviously. I think he's his 10th or 11th year. But he's a good pickup. I mean, we picked up Jordan Willis. I really like this pick from the 49ers. I like this pickup, especially on the opposite side. I think they're going to move around Chandler Jones a little bit more. I think putting his hand in the dirt is not meant for him. So Jordan Willis putting his hand in the dirt, being opposite of Maxxcrosby is it's ideal. And then having the rotational guys that we have right now, I think this is a great pickup. It's a good sleeper pick. Also picking up Jerry Tillery. I think it's Jerry. But Jerry Tillery was on the Chargers. We picked up him. He looked decent for a couple of games, especially the Charger game. I wish he flashed like that more often. But right now we picked up Jerry Tillery as a solid signing. We didn't have to pick him up for a lot of money. So that's what I'm more excited about, that we didn't pick him up for a lot of money. And we have another rotational guy on that defensive line. So, hats off to Dave Ziegler and trying to establish this front seven. We'll get into that a little bit more because that was the front defensive line. Now we'll get into linebackers, which I think is still very weak despite the names I'm going to rattle off. We re-signed Curtis Bolton. He was part of our practice squad as one of our undrafted free agents, I believe, from last year. He has a lot of potential, but he's not your starting linebacker. We picked up Robert Spline, or however you say his name, from Pittsburgh. He was your replacement linebacker. He looks the part. He doesn't look like the guy that puts on the green dot, though, despite the rumors. I see rumors that he's going to be wearing the green dot. He's going to be relaying communication. I don't see how he's going to do that since he wasn't part of this defense last year. So it's very confusing how that actually came out. But who knows? He could be very intelligent. I don't know. Maybe they're running a similar system to Pittsburgh. I don't know. But I do know that he does look the part. He just can't cover. And that's a hard reality to face when you have Travis Kelce in your division. And he's your number one headache. I mean, yeah, we can stop the run all day. That's what the D-line's for. And we got a couple other linebackers. I know we run three safeties. And I think that's what, primarily in the last game, they used Trayvon Moreg. The last game with Kansas City, let me be a little bit more clear here. So the last game against Kansas City, the Raiders used Trayvon Moreg to shadow Travis Kelce. If you go back and watch that game, Trayvon Moreg shut him down. And when Moreg moved over and blitzed, that's when Kelce was getting free. Not the first game. The first game, we had no type of game plan against Travis Kelce. We just let him go. And that's why he scored like 3 or 4 touchdowns. But the second game, the game plan was a lot better, a lot more methodical, and it made more sense. I know a lot of you are trashing Morag right now, but this is his second system, and he went from free safety to strong safety. And it doesn't make any sense because if you look at his build, he's definitely a free safety. He's supposed to roam the field. And I think he's just filling a need right now at strong safety since we got rid of Abram. But I'm not sold on Spline, Bolton, and also Diablo being our middle linebackers. Unless I'm missing something, I really don't think that this is the linebacker core. I know this draft is very deep in linebacker, but I think they go early with linebacker unless they trade out of that. Once again, they could have traded out of that already to get the quarterback they want. I don't know. This defense is kind of odd, to be honest with you, but I'm very opinionated about this defense, especially from last year. It did pretty good in the second half of the season. The first half of the season, it looked like they had no idea what they were doing, especially with Maxxcrosby. He could have pulled career numbers as far as sacks go, and then they pulled away from what they were doing with Max and just kind of went in a different direction. But that's a topic for a different time. We were talking about free agency. But linebacker is still looking really weak. I wish we would address that a little bit more. But right now we got Spline, and we re-signed Curtis Bolton. But besides that, we're looking really, really, really thin on not only the middle linebacker, but the other linebacker position. That's why I think Chandler Jones might move back. Anyways, let's move on to the cornerback signings because we got 100 of those. So the first pickup that we had was Duke Shelley, if I'm saying that correctly, from Minnesota. He looks the part. Once again, we have a bunch of people that we signed that look the part. Shut down a lot of guys. Minnesota fans were very upset when they got rid of him or let him go. They didn't re-sign him. They were very, very, very upset. And I think Duke was a little bit upset that they didn't sign him either. But does look the part, does look very good. This is why I think the Raiders have drafted out of that position, because if they had a 7th round pick, you'd be looking at a Gonzalez, you'd be looking at a Witherspoon. I don't think they're looking that way anymore because they picked up guys like Duke Shelley and David Long Jr., Brandon Faison. But we picked up Duke Shelley. We got Hobbs. We got Brandon Faison. We got David Long Jr. I think we're pretty solid at that position as far as cornerback goes. I mean, yeah, you want your, I guess, lockdown corner, but I don't think they're at 7 anymore. That's just my opinion, just the way the team's demeanor. They've done a lot of visits with quarterbacks and not enough visit with cornerbacks. I mean, if you watch the news, you can see their top 30 visits. I haven't seen Gonzalez, haven't seen Witherspoon. The irony keeps on getting stronger and stronger. First signing that I could remember was Marcus Epps out of the Eagles. Again, another safety that can't cover. He can tackle, so I guess they're going to primarily put him in the box, but can't really cover. I don't know why we didn't keep Jonathan Abram if that's the case, but Jonathan Abram kind of goes off his own script sometimes. Sometimes he can look really good, sometimes he can look really bad. Epps, don't get me wrong, is a phenomenal run stopper. He can tackle pretty good. He makes plays. Coverage-wise, he kind of suffers time to time. So I think they put him in the box. They kind of put Moreg in midfield, and they're going to have someone in the deep center. I don't know who exactly that might be, but we'll find out for sure. It might be Moreg. I don't know, but I think they draft. I'm not 100% certain on that one, but they could. I know they had interest in quite a few people in the draft. I've seen safeties come in, but not any cornerbacks as far as the top 30 visits. But you never know. Top 30 visits don't really mean anything. They're kind of like smoke screens nowadays, just to make you think that you're interested in a player, and you never bring in that person for a top 30 visit and you end up drafting them. That's what they do nowadays. They're weird. I don't know. But they also picked up Jacquizz Johnson from the Bills. He's a signing. He's okay, but again, he's one of those potential guys. A lot of potential signings, those potential guys, especially on defense. We don't need potential. We need star power. Max is looking over like, man, I need help. you know, that's exactly what he's thinking. And Chandler Jones was supposed to be that help. He ain't it. We picked up or re-signed Roderick Teamer. Solid safety overall. He can cover a little bit. He can tackle a little bit, but he's another guy. So we need some more playmakers on defense for sure. And I guess we're getting those in the draft. I guess we're building young. I'm not 100% sure what the direction may be after the first pick, but I can almost guarantee it's going to be a quarterback, not a cornerback. And I hope they got it figured out, because they're sure going to need that help when Mark Davis loses his mind, if they lose again or they have a failed draft. But a lot of people think that Mark Davis doesn't have a short temper. He does. He sent out Jack Del Rio to fire himself on live TV, so you don't think he has a short temper. He does. So anyways, he's looking for that stability. This is how you do it through the draft and free agency. Get these guys through the one-year deals. That's why a lot of the people I just mentioned are one-year deals. Very few of them are two-year deals. But we'll see what happens. But right now, that was free agency. I want to talk a little bit about the draft later on in my next video. Well, primarily the first, second, and third round pick. And a lot of hypothetical stuff, but that'll be my next video. But right now, I am out. Please like and subscribe. I thank you for tuning in, and I'm out.